How to set up feedback using efolio. In this lesson, we will show you how to set up feedback. We will be setting up feedback for a new project we are going to be doing. We want to elicit feedback to help us with our design. This lesson will show you how to set up a private site for gathering feedback and how to set up feedback. The steps for setting up feedback include adding a new site in efolio, setting the site to private so it's available only to selected visitors, adding content objects to the site, and setting up the content objects to receive feedback. Now let's get started by adding a new site. On the right side of the window, click the Add a New Site icon. This icon looks like a plus sign. The Add Site window opens. Here you will add the site label, a URL shortcut, and set the site status to public or private. Let's label this site Capstone Feedback and set the URL shortcut to Capstone Feedback as well. Then set the status to private and click OK. Next, we will add several content objects. The first one will be an artifact. We can also ask for feedback on images or any other types of content objects. This artifact will contain text to which visitors suggest content changes. Click on Artifact. Click Create. Add the artifact title. We are going to select General Artifact Type. We will type a brief description. Now we will copy and paste some text from a document into the full text box. Next, we will click Save. Now we will go to My Content and add the artifact we just created to the workspace. Let's drag the capstone feedback to the workspace. Let's select the Content Properties icon to set the feedback for this content object. On the Feedback Setup tab, we will select the checkbox so visitors can rate the content object on a scale from 1 to 10. For the scale, there is a label and minimum and maximum values to set. The default settings are poor and excellent. Next, we will select the checkbox for displaying a two-word question. For example, you can set it for yes, no, or pass, fail. In this case, we will accept the default of yes for the first word and no for the second word. Now we will select the Notes field. Visitors can leave feedback for the content object. We will also allow authorized visitors to suggest content changes to any text displayed. When we select the Show Received Feedback button, the feedback given by users will be displayed for other visitors to read and comment on. By checking this box, you will see the names of visitors that leave feedback. When you have finished setting the feedback settings, click OK. Now we will add an image for which we want feedback. Now let's quickly set up feedback for this image. We will set all the same feedback options. When all feedback options are set, click OK. Now we will add one more document for visitors to access. It will include the proposed interactivity for the capstone project. Under My Content, click File. Now let's drag the capstone interactivity document below the image. Again, we will select the Content Properties icon to quickly set feedback for this content object. That's it. We've set up the site to gather input about a new project. Let's preview it to see what visitors will see. Then, in the next lesson, we will set up the visitors for this site. Notice the Leave Feedback hyperlinks. We will discuss how to leave feedback in Lesson 3. Here's the feedback hyperlink for the image, and the Leave Feedback hyperlink for the interactivity artifact. So let's wrap up. In this lesson, we learned how to set up a private site for gathering feedback and how to set up feedback. The steps for setting up feedback included adding a new site in efolio, setting the site to private so it's available only to selected visitors, adding content objects to the site, and setting up the content objects to receive feedback. Now, let's move on to Lesson 2, how to invite visitors to give you feedback using efolio.